Parshas Pinchas, Tavshinai Hey. We're happy to be back here at Bika Cholim headquarters, Lakewood, New Jersey, for the Shalom Parshas Pinchas. And just about every year that is not a leap year, just about every year and every calendar year, the week of Parshas Pinchas, the parsha that we're learning this week, comes out during the Bein Hametzarim. It comes out during the 3 weeks, and the 3 weeks are the 3 weeks between the fast of S.S.S. and the fast of Tisha B'Av, which we will have in 2 weeks. If Mashiach doesn't come, we're going to have a fast of Tisha B'Av again. And Parshas Pinchas, basically, not always, but basically, in almost all years, comes out in the Bein Hametzarim, between S.S.S. and Tisha B'Av. We know that the Churban Bayesheni, the Golus that we're in right now, the Churban Bayesheni came about because of Sinas Chinam. What is Sinas Chinam? Sinas Chinam essentially means that they had the generation of the Churban Bayis, the generation of the second Beis HaMikdash, had a problem. They had a pegam, a deficiency of what? Of machlokas. The people didn't get along. People didn't like each other. People weren't so nice to each other. They had this pegam of machlokas. And really, machlokas is a sickness that unfortunately it's still plaguing us today. And we can't be asleep. We can't think that it was something that happened then. If you take a look, it's with today, almost 2,000 years later, it's still withholding our redemption. It's still withholding the Geula from us, and it's a long and painful Golus, like we said, nearly 2,000 years, and Mashiach hasn't come. So it must be really problem number one, that we're still suffering from the same problem that we had, the reason we were sent into Golus, the reason there was a Churban Bayesheni, and that is the pegam of machlokes. Now really, when we talk about Shalom, which in English, which actually we call peace, is really the opposite and remedy of machlokes. And when we talk about Shalom, one of the places in the Torah that we look is in this week's parsha. This week's parsha, the beginning of the parsha, what happens? We know at the end of last week's parsha, Pinchas did a heroic act. Pinchas did something to defend the kavod of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Pinchas did an act which defended the honor of Hashem. So Hashem says at the beginning of this week's parsha, we need to give Pinchas a reward. We need to give him something. And obviously, if he did something so great, he's getting a big reward. Hashem says the reward that we are going to give to Pinchas, this great reward for defending the name of Hashem, is the bracha of Shalom. And that's one of the places in the Torah that we find this inyan of Shalom. Shalom is an extremely great thing, and we see it from here just by the very fact that Pinchas was rewarded with Shalom. Hashem wasn't going to give Pinchas some sort of trivial reward here. He did something great. He needed to get something great. He got the reward of Shalom. So we need to ask the Nesivos Shalom, why is it though, really, that the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed because of a lack of Shalom? You ever wonder about that? I mean, during the first Beis HaMikdash, the Bayis Rishon, we know, was destroyed because Klal Yisrael had transgressed many very serious averos and cardinal sins. Klal Yisrael had transgressed some serious averos, and the first Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. But what about the second Beis HaMikdash now? The avera of Sinas Chinam is really, I don't like to say the word only, but when you compare it to what was going on in Bayis Rishon, really there's just a lav in the Torah. The lav in the Torah, lo yisisna achicha b'vavecha, that a person shouldn't hate his fellow person, you shouldn't hate your fellow Jew in your heart. Lo yisisna achicha b'vavecha. It's a lav in the Torah, and for that lav, for Klal Yisrael transgressing that law in the time of the second Beis Hamikdash. We're in Golus for 2,000 years, and not only that, we have no idea when we're going to get out of the Golus. That's a double whammy, because in the first Beis Hamikdash, they had transgressed all those serious averos, and they knew even then that for 70 years they would be in Golus, and then they would come back to Eretz Yisrael. And today we're in Golus almost 2,000 years, and on top of that, we have no idea when it's going to end. We have no idea we're actually going to be able to all go back to Eretz Yisrael together. So what is, first of all, so great about Shalom? And what is so terrible about Machlokes that it caused this tremendous punishment which we are still enduring today? So Nesivos Shalom says the first thing we need to understand, and this we've mentioned a couple of times throughout the Torah, the first thing we need to understand is what Shalom is. You know, you ask someone, what's peace? In other words, Shalom, says in Nesivos Shalom, is not just the absence of Machlokes. Sometimes we think, and we've mentioned it, sometimes we compare it to the Israeli-Palestinian thing. The minute they're not killing each other, the minute no one's dead for one day, they're at peace, right? We have this ridiculous notion that peace means if you're not killing each other, you're not at war, that's peace. The simple lack of an active act of hostility, if you're not doing that, then you're Shalom. Nesivos Shalom explains that Shalom in the Torah, Shalom means Shalom is an essential and vital part of the Bria, part of the creation. It's not simply the absence of Machlokes. As we say it every time we say Kaddish, or he says Shalom b'mreimov. Hashem, who promotes and makes Shalom, peace, b'mreimov, up there in heaven. Let me ask you, is there any Machlokes in heaven? There's no, everything's at peace up there. There's no strife. There is no hate, there's no machlokes in heaven, and yet we see HaKadosh Baruch Hu is constantly making peace. So it must be that Shalom is not just breaking up fights. Shalom is a proactive thing, something which Hashem considers a vital part of the Bria, where there has to be some sort of peace. And what do we want, says in the Nesivos Shalom? Shalom means we want the entire universe to be one in the fact that what? That Hashem is the only singular power in the world. That's what Shalom means. Shalom really means, if we had to put it into English, it means like Ein Od Movado. We're saying that we are all in agreement, we're at peace. In other words, we all agree that Hashem is the only power in the world. When we're united in that way, that's when we have Shalom. And that's really what Shalom means. And the opposite of that, when we're not united in that way, the opposite of that is Machlokes. And its root comes in the fact, where does it come from? It comes from the fact when people are not in agreement. You know what the biggest factor of people not being in agreement is where people feel that they themselves are something chashuv. And if you feel that you are something chashuv, that you are something special, unlike everybody else around you, then you always feel that other people are infringing on your power or on your territory. Notice, we're not in agreement, right? We're not in agreement. We're not feeling. So Nesivos Shalom says that along these lines, it's interesting to note, and you have to know that Avos Yisrael is something, in order for a person to have a love for Hashem, to have Avos Hashem, you know how you get there, said Nesivos Shalom? You teach yourself Avos Yisrael. It's not magic overnight where a person can say that he loves Hashem. If a person wants to really love Hashem, he needs to have Avos Yisrael. He needs to train himself in the fact that I'm not any more special than someone else. God didn't give me some sort of existence in this world where I'm any more than everybody else around here. And once you come to terms with that, that's how you have Avos Yisrael. You feel that we're all on the same level, we're all in this together. And that's the way you teach yourself Avos Hashem, where we're all in agreement that Hashem is the only power in the world. Because when people do not feel that they're holier and more deserving and more privileged than other people, and they're mevatel themselves to others, then in that way you teach yourself that kind of behavior with Hashem too. That Hashem is everything and we are nothing. And that is what Ava, love, and peace really mean. When everything and everything in the world is batal to Hashem. And that is precisely, says the Nesivos Shalom, why machlokes create such a churban. We wanted to know machlokes, that caused the churban by Hashemi, that caused us to be in Golus for 2,000 years. You know why? Because even though, yes, machlokes is just stems from a lav in the Torah. One lav in the Torah. It only comes from one lav. But the consequences are so great because we're going against everything that Hashem wanted in the Bria. Hashem wanted that we should all be in uniform agreement. We should all be in agreement that Hashem ain't oy muvadoi, that Hashem is the only power and we are nothing. So if we're fighting with each other, we haven't learned that lesson. Because you fight with someone else, you're feeling that for some reason you have something over them. You're something special. You're something great. If you're something great, you're also infringing on the power of Hashem. And you're going against the entire purpose and the entire way that Hashem wanted to create the Bria. The Mishnah in Pirkei Avos Perek Aleph says, Mishnah tells us, Hevei mitalmidov shel Aharon. We should be from the students of Aaron, Oyhev Shalom v'roidev Shalom. You should love peace and pursue peace. You should run after peace. Aaron HaKohen, says in the Nesivos Shalom, was Oyhev v'roidev Shalom, not just because Shalom is a nice thing, which it is. Shalom is a beautiful thing. And is there a better feeling than friends, neighbors, people being at peace with each other? There's no better feeling. It's a beautiful thing. But Aaron HaKohen was Oyhev Shalom v'roidev Shalom for another reason. He pursued peace also because that was a chilik of kahuna. A kohen, his job in the avodah was to bring together Klal Yisrael to Hashem. And the way to bring, as we just said, the way to bring people closer to Hashem, the way to bring us all together is through peace. For everybody feeling, I'm not greater than you. I don't have anything over you. I don't deserve anything more than you. I'm always willing to give to you, to share to you. And that is, we're being mekayim, the purpose of the Bria. And we see that the tachlis of the Bria is, and of the building and the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash all comes and it all stems from this idea of Shalom. And we also have to remember, now that we're in the 3 weeks, we need to remember, Kol Shalei Nivna Beis HaMikdash B'Yamav Kilu Nechav B'Yamav. We were sent into Golus, we were thrown into Golus and chased into Golus almost 2,000 years because of Sinas Chinam. We would be remiss if we didn't start thinking that we're in Golus for the same reason. Because if we remedied the problem, there's a good chance that HaKadosh Baruch Hu would say, okay, they took care of the problem. And we're still plagued by this terrible thing of machlokes which is going on. It's much too prevalent today. And we have to work on that during the 3 weeks. That's what Hashem, you think we just have avelos, you think we don't take, the main idea is not to take a haircut, is not to listen to music. There's a purpose, there's a reason. We need to remember that there was a Beis HaMikdash and we're missing it. And from this week's Parsha, we see Shalom. You have to actively think, like Aaron HaKohen, Oyhev Shalom, v'roidev Shalom. Don't just sit there and say, when there's peace, I'll be happy that it's here. No, we have to pursue it. We have to go after it. We have to think about it. And we have to be the ones. Don't wait for somebody else. We have to be the ones. Take this bracha that was given to Pinchas. Understand how great it is. Pursue peace and know how special it is. Know that it's our job to take the step and to actually change the world. Make it one of peace.